Now, no AFL grand final, limits on how people can exercise and where they can go in Victoria, and they're propped up by this Reason Party who at the last election got 1.37% of the vote, and the Animal Justice Party who got 2.47% of the vote, all because we've got this ridiculous system of preferential voting Andrew sails on. At no point are we being told the truth. For example, as I said to Richo, since March, 565 Victorian patients have died with or from the virus, but 10,000 Victorians, not 565, die annually from cardiovascular disease, 11,000 from cancer. These doctors have said earlier tonight what I've said all along. You'll never be told that in July this year, I repeat, 541 fewer deaths than in July last year, yet people in the economy are smashed. The Victorian deaths from coronavirus since March, 565, but the deaths from influenza each and every year are almost 4,000, and that's despite excellent rates of vaccination. This is not a pandemic's bootlace, but it's worse than that. I mentioned last night the 1948 Universal Declaration of Human Rights. During its drafting, it was the Australian delegation which argued, and I quote, "The freedom of movement is unquestionably one of the fundamental rights of man." That's been stolen from Victorians along with every other freedom. I quoted last night the eminent Australian economist and writer, Henry Ergas, who argued this week the virus has shattered enough lives with no end in sight to the draconian powers governments have claimed for themselves. It would turn tragedy into disaster if we allowed it to destroy our freedoms as well. Well, it has. Sam Newman, I've never met. I've always admired the fact that he says it as it is. He played 300 games in the AFL, a distinguished servant of the game. In the last 48 hours, he's urged Victorians to, quote, take the city and the state back, and he proposed that 250,000 people should gather on the CBD streets in protest over the lockdown. On his podcast called You Cannot Be Serious, Sam Newman said the 250,000 figure was just arbitrary. All he was trying to do was to draw attention to the dire situation of struggling businesses. He said, I'm not advocating a rally as such. I just thought it'd be great. The 250,000 people march in the city. It's hyperbole. It's designed to get the attention of the government. I couldn't give a stuff, he said, if they open the city or not, because I don't have a business. But he said people are actually about to lose their livelihoods through the inaction and the stringent requirements that this government is putting on people. Well, as a result, the Victorian police have gone after Sam, and they've virtually told him that he'll be charged with all sorts of things if he's even part of such a protest, and he's not allowed to speak, but he is here. So, Sam, on the line, good to talk to you. What the hell is going on?
Well, that's a very good question. I'm a bit bemused by what is going on in 2020 down here in Melbourne. It's amazing. Yes, the police came in today and said if I was thinking, I'll read it out, if I was thinking of having a rally or attending one, I would be put in jail. I'd be arrested. And mind you, this is not a fault of the police. They're only working under instruction. But my point was, I should have said 500,000 people should march through the city. I didn't say that. It was a tongue-in-cheek aside to point out the draconian measures that are being inflicted on us for no good reason. Now, we shouldn't underestimate the seriousness of the virus, but to say you couldn't open a business or a commercial enterprise or the hospitality industry or leisure industries cautiously and responsibly, the Premier says he has a road plan. Well, he's only suggested we have a road plan about 4 days ago. It's a bit late to be consulting Melways or Google Maps to get a roadway when people are just about out on their feet. This city is rusting. It's just over there, about 100 metres away, the city. It is rusting and it's falling into disrepair.
Sam, what is it doing to the emotional and psychological well-being of young people who've never seen anything like this, and they don't know? I mean, they've had their education taken away from them. People are living, I keep saying, like battery hens. Has anyone presented any evidence as to why this should happen and whether it will work or not?
Probably to the reverse. They're not presenting the evidence. Now, I spoke to someone today who is an ambulance, is a mica ambulance driver, and that person said that the amount of suicides they are called to is on the up. Now, I don't want to be alarmist at all, but these are figures and these are statistics that the government won't give you. They'll give you all the other ones about how many people have contracted the virus or are dying in nursing homes, but they'll never give you the other angle of why this is absolutely essential, that people be allowed to do something with their lives rather than stay inside except for an hour a day, not travel more than 5 kilometres. Yeah, if you told this to the rest of the world, they would giggle at you.
And Sam, then when you just make a remark, they come after you and, as I said, threaten you, as they did to that woman at Ballarat, which we played earlier on tonight. I mean, I just find it...
Well,
sorry.
The only difference between me and the woman in Ballarat is mine was so ridiculously hyperbolic that probably people tried to take it seriously, but if you're going to organise a rally like I was accused of, you would actually give people a time, a date, a place, where to meet, where to march. I did none of that. I just said, theoretically, wouldn't it be great if 500,000 of us showed the Andrews government we are fed up with these draconian measures. They're not necessarily in the main, and leisure time, it is extraordinary. As I say, 2020, and here we are cooped up, as you said, like battery hens.
Yeah. Good on you, Sam. Great to talk to you. Keep at it, Sam. I love your work. Love your work. I love the fact you say it as it is, Sam. Thank you for joining us. There he is, Sam Newman, a distinguished, highly intelligent man and a former distinguished captain of Geelong, 300 games, but I mean, it's staggering stuff, isn't it? And you can't blame the police. I mean, basically, they're telling the police what to do. The police have got to do as they're told. Daniel Andrews, I said earlier tonight, go and go now.